whatnot there. Anyways, so yesterday we ended off talking about Aurangzeb and how he was not a very good son because after his father didn't die, he was very disappointed. He murdered a brother and then threw his daddy in jail when he got better, deposing him. And Aurangzeb is going to have successful military campaigns that will enlarge the Mughal Empire, but his reign is really considered the end, or excuse me, I should say the beginning of the end. Because the Mughal Empire will last until 1858 when the British take over England. When the British take over India. But that's going way too far into modern history for us to be able to handle in a medieval class. And one of the things that's going to happen is Aurangzeb, much like his great-grandfather, Jahangir, is going to be kind of intolerant, kind of mean, kind of cruel, and there's going to be a lot of rebellion against him. And then after he dies, India is going to go into civil war. And we know that civil war is, don't make fun of me, civil war is going to wind up really tearing the Mughals apart. And then, of course, when the Mughals are weakened because they're fighting each other, just like when we talked about this in Egypt and just pretty much everywhere for the most part, invaders are going to come in. So the Mughals are going to hang on for another 150 years after Aurangzeb, but it's like just an erosion of power. They're getting weaker and smaller and weaker and smaller. And like I said, the British Empire is going to wind up staking their claim in India because they're going to realize, whoa, India is really rich and wealthy. And oh, they grow tea in India, and we can make lots and lots of money off of tea. And then actually, we all equate, England with tea today, and that's a big thing because they really got addicted and loved the tea. I had tea this morning, green tea. It was delicious. Then I used the same cup for my coffee, and then it was really gross. So, Aurangzeb, not only a bad son, but wound up being a bad Mughal ruler, and the Mughals started falling apart after him. Civil war, enemies coming in and taking away pieces of it. I really want to switch, but I see some of you still writing. Oh, unbelievable. You good, Ems? All right, looks like Miss Patel is also done. Fire umpires there. All right. Here, these are just quick summary. You don't have to go and write these things down. Here we can just see the territorial acquisitions of the Mughals. And we see under Aurangzeb, they really did almost have the entire subcontinent, which is really, really cool. Just a wee bit wound up holding out against the Mughals. We see this as a tremendous amount of territory. And for the big achievements, we have Babur, conqueror, founder. When you can only say that, though, that's a little bit. He doesn't rule very long. Akbar, of course, is going to be one of the greatest rulers the Mughals will have, and one of the greatest world leaders. I really like and respect Akbar a lot. Military, great administrator, and was great to his people. I really think they should add in here the tax reform, which was fantastic for his people. Jahangir, I feel like they really stretched it, because when they say encourage Persian culture in India, that's great, but he also discouraged other culture, which is kind of like the downside. But he certainly was a patron of the arts and literature, which is something that we want to appreciate. Shah Jahan promoted literature arts, built the Taj Mahal, definitely made the capital of Delhi. Fantastic things. I mean, that's still an important idea. Taj Mahal, 100,000 people still see it every day. Well, I don't know if they do under COVID. Probably less. I don't know. On Aurangzeb, one of the things here, so once again, we have to look. So he grew Islam, Sunni Islam there, but at the oppression of Hindus, unfortunately. But he did increase the empire to its largest size, which is pretty cool. So how have the Mughals influenced India? Well, their government system, creating a strong government. The fact that part of the reason why India has such a cool, diverse culture is because of the idea of how we have the Persian art and culture coming in and mixing with the Indian culture, so creating something really cool. More trade. You know, the India has always been famous for trade, particularly with China on the Silk Road, but also with the Arabs. And you know, we talked about how the Kingdom of Kush and then Axum are going to trade. We're going to see even more trade between Arabs and Turks with India. Their beautiful gardening. We didn't get talking about my other class. We talked about with the other class. They were really into gardens, particularly water gardens. So having nice water pieces, and that's something that's still popular today in many areas. Their architectural style is amazing. Another cool thing is we get Urdu, which is going to be a language that is very common in Pakistan, but also in parts of India as well. And Urdu is like a combination of Persian, Arabic, and Turkish all together, kind of like how English is a combination of like French and German, essentially. I had an Urdu speaker. I taught her a couple years ago. She was a pretty sweet young lady. All right, so those are some of the influences of the Mughals on India. And yes, that is going to be ending our studies with the Mughals as opposed for notes. We're going to obviously have a couple more days with it. I'm going to end the recording. Does anyone have any questions?